interrupting our programs to inform you Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died.
After months of legal drama, Elon Musk has completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter.
Cristiano Ronaldo is to leave Manchester United.
The Supreme Court has reached a decision on the landmark Roe v. Wade case.
2022 was one for the books. A lot of monumental things occurred in that year, which would set the tone for the years to come. For those of us that have lived through it, looking back at what we have gone through can be interesting. What do you predict will take the #1 spot? Let's find out. Here are some of the most controversial events of 2022, Part 2. Number 10. Theranos CEO found guilty. This could potentially be the greatest fraud of our century. In shocking news, Theranos CEO was found guilty on 4 counts and not guilty on 4 counts. Holmes was found guilty on 3 charges of wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. According to the New York Times, each count of fraud carries a potential jail penalty of 20 years, with the sentences likely to be served concurrently. The jury found Holmes not guilty on the 2nd allegation of conspiracy to conduct wire fraud and deadlocked on 3 other counts of wire fraud. Prior to the trial, she had pleaded not guilty on all counts. It all started when her blood testing startup promoted a less painful finger prick method. However, the Wall Street Journal reported in 2015 that Theranos' claims were false and that their healthcare gadgets could not work as promised. Her company was accused of defrauding investors and raising over $1 billion. Almost everyone felt foolish for falling for such a grand scheme. She will have a lot of time to think about the weight of her actions. Number 9. Kanye West's anti-Semitism. Kanye West is no newcomer to public struggles. After disgracing himself by harassing Taylor Swift at the VMAs, his most beloved album, 2010's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, was itself an artistic act of redemption. In 2022, however, it appeared that West had dug a hole too deep for him to climb out of. He was suspended from Twitter after posting an image of a swastika combined with the Star of David on the network. He was suspended twice last year, both times for anti-Semitic content. The swastika post is only the latest in a string of strange and despicable gestures by the singer. He began by aggressively harassing his ex-wife Kim Kardashian and her temporary partner Pete Davidson on social media, then swung into anti-Semitic discourse, going as far as to publicly embrace Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler. Some lines must not be crossed, and some atrocities cannot be atoned for with a good album. He was even dropped from his biggest endorsement brand, Adidas. Kanye is definitely not coming out of this hole anytime soon. Number 8. Balenciaga Scandal. 2022 also wasn't safe for fashion brands. Balenciaga got involved in hot controversy after they released their holiday ad campaign in November, portraying toddlers holding teddy bears in bondage harnesses and costumes. The BDSM accessories were also seen on the Balenciaga runway during Paris Fashion Week. The reaction has been intense, with the hashtag #CancelBalenciaga trending on Twitter and TikTok, and many accusing the company and its creative director of promoting pedophilia and child exploitation. A bag from the fashion house's partnership with Adidas was photographed atop copies of what appeared to be documents from the Supreme Court case, United States against Williams, which extended federal safeguards against child pornography, in a different commercial that debuted later that month. Both efforts immediately became conservative talking points, igniting conspiracy theories. A number of celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Julia Fox have distanced themselves from the company following the backlash. If this continues, we might possibly see an end to the high-profile brand. Number 7. Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest. This is the story of a guy who went from zero to hero. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of bankrupt crypto exchange FTX, was arrested in the Bahamas after US prosecutors filed criminal charges against him. The arrest was verified on Twitter by the Southern District of New York, which is investigating Bankman-Fried and the collapse of FTX and its sibling trading business Alameda. Bankman-Fried is a crypto celebrity who became a pariah overnight after his company experienced a liquidity issue and declared bankruptcy last month, preventing at least 1 million depositors from accessing their assets. According to reports, Bankman-Fried installed a backdoor into FTX's accounting system, allowing him to change the company's financial records without raising accounting red flags. According to the investigation, Bankman-Fried exploited this backdoor to transfer $10 billion in FTX client funds to Alameda, the hedge firm, and at least $1 billion is now gone. Very, very suspicious to say the least. Number 6. Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced. 2022 saw a reappearance of the Jeffrey Epstein saga. His accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts in a federal court in New York for her role in Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse of teenage girls between 1994 and 2004. Maxwell was convicted on 5 federal offenses, including sex trafficking of a juvenile, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in illegal sexual activity, and 3 counts of conspiracy. Maxwell, who faces up to 65 years in prison, remained silent as the findings were read aloud. At Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, 4 women testified that they had been sexually abused. Epstein, who pleaded guilty to state prosecution charges in 2008, was charged with federal sex trafficking charges in July 2019, but committed suicide a month later in prison. Maxwell, his confidant and former girlfriend, was captured a year later and has been imprisoned ever since. She will most likely have a lot of time to think after her sentence. Number 5. Elon Musk buys Twitter. After months of highly covered speculation and negotiations, Elon Musk of Tesla and Starlink fame finally acquired Twitter. The $44 billion transaction is the most significant social media takeover since Facebook purchased WhatsApp in 2014. It amounted to $54.20 per share, a considerable premium over the stock's current price. He has also sold approximately $15.5 billion in Tesla stock since April, raising enough funds to pay nearly $27 billion from his personal holding. Musk vowed to remove all bot accounts and authenticate legitimate accounts if his buyout offer was accepted. So far, he has not done much to change that. Back then, Musk also stated that under his control, he wanted Twitter to stop issuing permanent bans and allow legal free expression to remain on the network. So far, it has been a mess. The CEO has even considered stepping down once following the backlash to his crazy decisions. It's safe to say it's not going very well for him. Number 4. Ronaldo leaves Manchester United. The king of drama in the soccer world made a reappearance last year. Cristiano Ronaldo, the multiple award-winning champion, announced his departure from Manchester United in November 2022, generating a stir in the sports world. Piers Morgan, a writer for The Sun and a Talk TV broadcaster, interviewed the now former Manchester United player. Ronaldo told Piers that United has made him feel like a black sheep, and that he is being blamed for everything that has gone wrong at the club. United had 3 managers in a year, with Erik ten Hag being in charge during the time when Ronaldo left the club. Ronaldo had little good to say about him, claiming that he and Hag had little mutual respect. Ronaldo departed Manchester United for Saudi Arabia's Al Nassr after the shocking interview. Portuguese forward will reportedly earn £160 million per year after signing a 2-year contract with Al Nassr, making him the highest paid football player in the world. That is £100 million more than he made when playing for Manchester United. Surely that is a favourable outcome for the superstar striker, don't you think? Number 3. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. 2022 was the season of monumental decisions. In a 5-4 decision last year, the Supreme Court reversed Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 decision that established a woman's constitutional right to abortion in the United States. The court's heated but expected decision provides individual states the power to adopt their own abortion regulations without fear of violating Roe v. Wade. Almost half of the states are anticipated to make abortion illegal or highly restricted. Tens of millions of individuals around the country will be affected by the regulations, with some having to cross state lines to seek reproductive health care. The revelation of the court's conclusion triggered anger and alarm among abortion rights supporters, who are concerned about how the decision will affect both patients and providers as 22 states prepare to restrict or outright ban abortions. We should expect more outrage in the coming months. Who knows where this life-changing decision might lead to? Number 2. Brittney Griner is traded for Victor Bout. In other 2022 news, Russia arrested and later released the well-known US basketball star Brittney Griner in a high-level prisoner swap. The swap entailed another high-profile convict, the renowned arms dealer Victor Bout, the so-called Merchant of Death. He had been held in a US prison for 12 years. Greiner is a two-time Olympic gold medalist whose detention on drug allegations drew unparalleled attention to the population of wrongfully detained individuals. She was detained in February, found guilty in August, and sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony in September. She was facing serious time, and we all know that jail isn't the nicest place, especially in a foreign country. Thankfully, the US government managed to secure her release with some witty negotiation. This didn't stop the situation from becoming a highly controversial event that shook media all over the world. Number 1. The death of Queen Elizabeth. Since the Queen's sudden death, there have been many questions about how she died and what caused it. This Queen was a long-serving one. Ever since her father's death way back in early 1952, she was crowned as the Queen of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth countries. At the time, she was only 25 years old. Little did she know she would become the longest-serving monarch of her beloved kingdom. After more than 70 years of serving with dedication, Queen Elizabeth II died on September 8, 2022 at the age of 96 and would be remembered for her elegance and class. The royal family, and by extension the whole world, entered a period of mourning following her death. It was a sad time for a lot of people. It almost seemed like the world was coming to an end. Her funeral was a grand event as her body was taken all over England before resting in London, where thousands of people could pay their respects. It was a proper way for such a beloved monarch to go. She will definitely be sorely missed. But although many grieved her passing, others took this time to criticize the monarch's rule. Black and brown people around the world who were subject to horrendous cruelties and economic deprivation under British colonialism are allowed to have feelings about Queen Elizabeth. Washington Post columnist Karen Attiah said in a tweet, "Many feel the long-standing British monarchy shares the blame in the lasting effects of colonialism and oppression. With racial tensions being a hot topic in nearly every corner of the world, as well as the British monarchy, we'd have to say the Queen's death was quite controversial. These are just a few of the many happenings of 2022. So, you think the future could get even more controversial than this? Let us know in the comments below.